I'm Nick Eat Bread, and this is All Inclusive, the series where I test how far I can push sourdough with unexpected inclusions. One of my absolute favorite weekend treats is a breakfast burrito. So my chaotic bread brain thought, can I bake those flavors into a sourdough? We're about to find out. First things first, what ingredients are going in? We're starting off with some bacon, make sure it's crispy. Then we're moving on to some taco seasoning. Next up, grab yourself some cilantro. And then lastly, it's cheddar cheese. In the tartine country loaf recipe, I'm going to be adding my inclusions in the third stretch and fold. You'll notice that I'm not adding all of the ingredients at once. I'm adding 1/3 of each ingredient, and then I'll stretch and fold. I'll add another third, I'll stretch and fold again, and then I'll add the final third and stretch and fold again. After adding all the ingredients, remember to wet your hands so that it doesn't stick. You're going to carefully stretch the dough up, trying to keep all of the ingredients on top and fold it over. You'll notice some of the ingredients did come out. That's okay, we'll get them later. As I mentioned before, you're gonna add 1/3 more of each ingredient and then stretch and fold again. You may notice that my dough is not as wet and stretchy as it normally is when I do the country loaf. That's because I only use 675 grams of water as opposed to 750 grams of water. The reasoning for this is because we are including so many inclusions in here, I want to make sure that the dough doesn't get too wet with all of these inclusions. Because of that, it does make the dough harder to work with. All right, let's add our final third amounts of ingredients. You will notice that some of the ingredients will start to pour out of the sides, but don't worry, we will make sure to tuck those in later. Add the last bit of cheddar cheese and the last bit of cilantro. And with a wet hand, go ahead and stretch as best as you can and fold it over. If you notice any bits on the bottom, go ahead and tuck them underneath. I'm gonna let this rest for another 30 minutes. All right, for this next round, rather than doing a stretch and fold, I'm gonna wet my hands and I'm gonna do a coil fold this time. This makes sure to try and keep the ingredients inside as much as possible. I'm gonna wet my hands one more time, turn it, do one more coil fold. And tuck those little bits underneath. There we go. And now I'm gonna let this rest for 2 more hours. When your bulk fermentation is complete, go ahead and scoop that out onto a floured surface. Flour the top of this bad boy. And let's get it ready to pre-shape. Using your bench scraper as carefully as possible, start tucking the dough under itself. The goal is to build tension on top while keeping all of the inclusions inside. But not too much tension where it bursts either. Tuck this one side under a little bit more. There are a little bit of bubbles on top, which is a great sign. All right, let's let this bench rest for 20 minutes. All right, now that the 20 minutes is up, it's time to do the final shape. I'll flour my surface a bit, maybe a little bit too much actually. Flip it onto it. Now sometimes, if you have too many inclusions, folding it and shaping it will actually tear it open. You can already see the bottom is kind of open here. So will I be able to do that? I don't think so. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it I'm just gonna use my bench scraper and just continue to build tension underneath. Hopefully this is gonna be enough. Keep going a little bit more. And I'm gonna flip it into my Benetton basket. The seam side still has some exposed parts, so I'm just gonna pinch it. Just try to pinch it together as much as I can. It'll be fine. Then after a final proof on the countertop for 4 hours, I'm gonna flip that bad boy onto the wax paper, lift it up gently, and then get ready to score the top. So for this one, it might be a little bit tricky because there are inclusions in it. So yep, right there, that's a piece of bacon. Just try the best that you can. A little bit of an angle. I'm gonna do a square for this one since my Benetton basket is circular. So while you're scoring the dough, your oven should be preheated to 500 degrees with the Dutch oven inside. So that when you are done scoring the dough, it's ready for you to take and pop it over to your Dutch oven. Place your loaf into the Dutch oven. With mitts, grab the hot lid, place it securely on top, then place into the center rack. You're going to immediately drop the temperature to 450 degrees and bake for 20 minutes with the lid on. After 20 minutes, take it out and pop that lid off. Oof, look at that beautiful steam come out. Place it back in the oven for another 20 to 25 minutes with the lid off. Wow, look at that. It is beautifully golden brown. Look at that crust. Now transfer that over to a cooling rack. And would you look at that? It is gorgeous. I'm so happy with this. It rose. I was worried that it wouldn't rise because of all the inclusions, but look at this baby. All right, let's cut it open and see. Drum roll, please. Wow, would you look at that? The inclusions spread out evenly. This is incredible. Now, it's not as light in area as a normal country loaf that I do, but you know what? I added a lot of inclusions, so I'm very happy with the amount of fries that I got. Now, for the moment of truth. I'm first gonna try the bread without any toppings on it just to see how it tastes alone. Okay, that's good. Wow, the flavor of the bacon, the cheese, the cilantro, the seasoning in there. It's definitely packed with flavor. I would eat this on its own, even without avocado and egg on top. Just on its own, I would give this a Mangia score of an 8 out of 10. But let's see if we can bump it up with some toppings. So I toasted a thick slice, spread generously with homemade guacamole. A little bit more. Placed a runny egg on top. And you can't forget the hot sauce, come on. All right, cut it open for show. All right, so now with the guacamole, the egg, and the hot sauce, let's see how we did. I mean, honestly, it's so good. I would do this again, definitely. My Mangia score has gone up to a 9 on this one. 9 out of 10. Loved it. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try this. Also, let me know what I should try including next. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos to come.